Hey guys, welcome back to Mr. Tilly's Mathemagics. In this video, we're going to go on with our small series on congruency. Now, if we think back to a previous video, remember congruency is just two shapes that are exactly identical. Whether we flip, rotate, or mirror, or translate them, they are exactly the same shape. Now, we've got a few rules that we can use to actually determine that two shapes are congruent, and we're just going to work with triangles. They've got the fewest sides, so that's going to be the easiest way to do it. And the first rule we have here is actually going to be SSS, and as you can see there, it actually means side, side, side. So in order for this rule to be true, all three sides of both shapes have to be exactly the same length. So whenever we're talking about side, we're talking about side length. So let's get this out of the way, and we'll actually bring a triangle in that we can use as an example. So here we have a triangle, and if we remember back to a previous video on how to name these shapes, we've got triangle A, B, C, and as you can see there, all three sides have been labeled. So we're actually going to be shooting for SSS because we have the length of all three sides labeled for us. So let's get a second triangle in here, and we're going to have this triangle here, as you can see, triangle DFE. And as you can see, again, we have the length of all three sides labeled. So what we want to do here is figure out some of those methods of translating our shape to try and get them to overlap. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is try to reorientate the shape so that it's orientated in the same direction. So I can see that my triangle on the left there, it's taller than it is wide. So I'm going to reorientate like that. So that's my first rotation. The next thing I'm going to do is translate and try to get this shape to overlap on my original shape. And as you can see there, it gets, pardoning my movements, it actually overlaps perfectly. So these two shapes at least do appear to be identical. So what we're going to do now is actually compare the lengths of each side. And we can see here that our base, 3 meters on one, 3 meters on the other. The height, 4 meters on one, 4 meters on the other. And our hypotenuse, we have 5 meters on one and 5 meters on the other. So we can see there that from these measurements, we do in fact have three sides that are identical lengths. This means that we can claim that these two triangles are in fact congruent because of side, side, side. And we're going to write that to our reader by saying triangle ABC is congruent to triangle DEF because of side, side, side. And there's our there's our congruency statement along with our congruency rule. Big point to remember with this stuff is that you have to reorientate both shapes so that you actually are trying to overlap them. If you can, then that's great, and you have all three sides and you can match them up. That makes it real nice and easy. It's side, side, side. If you have any questions about this, please write them down, bring them into class. I'll bet your teacher has a whole bunch of activities that you can do together to really cement your knowledge of this. I'll see you in the next lesson.